But the point is your best form of marketing in the world is having a great product, a product that people talk about.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today it is an honor and a pleasure for me to introduce you all to this very particular session where we are going to know more about the customer satisfaction. My name is Harsh and I'm going to moderate this session for all of you, wherein I'm going to introduce you all about the session and perhaps the person who is going to interact and address all of us. First of all, I request you to kindly acknowledge and welcome the presence of our esteemed guest, Mr. Stock Friedman, who is here with us. I would like to request all the person, those who are watching this session on YouTube, to kindly upload in the comment section and welcome the presence of our esteemed guest. Mr. Scott Friedman is a certified virtual presenter and former president of National Speaker Association. He speaks live or virtually over 60 times a year on employee innovation and engagement, customer experience, and how to create a happier, healthier workplace. You may find more about him in the description of this video. So first of all, sir, I welcome you to in this session. Thank you so much for joining and agreeing to share your thoughts with us. We are extremely very happy to have you.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here, Harsh. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. It's our pleasure. Sir, moving to the topic of today's session, which we have chosen is customer satisfaction, the foundation of business success. Sir, my first question to you is, in your term, what is customer satisfaction and why it is very important?
Can I tell you a story to start with?
Sure,
That
sir.
will lead into the answer. It starts with a real estate salesman in the 1960s by the name of Robert Patcham. He had the ability to sell 3 to 4 times as much real estate as anybody else in his company, and he was a blind man. And Paul Harvey was a famous radio commentator in the U.S., had him on his radio show one Saturday, and he says, "Mr. Patcham," he says, "tell me, how do you do so well in light of your handicap?" And Mr. Patcham said, "In light of my handicap, I'm not sure I understand what you mean." He says, "Well, you're a blind man. Do you not consider that a handicap?" He says, "Oh, no. Not only is it not a handicap, it's my greatest advantage, for it allows me to see what I sell through my customers' eyes." So customer satisfaction is being able to see what you sell through your customers' eyes. It's creating perceived value in your customer's eyes, but it's only perceived value if your customer perceives it as value. So it's, how do you satisfy your customer in their terms, by looking through their eyes? That's how I would define it.
All right, sir. It was really a very insightful answer from your side, and I believe the viewers, those who are watching this session, they will learn from that. Sir, my next question to you is, what are the keys to a stable foundation of a successful business?
Uh, 3 keys to a successful foundation of a business, I think. First is your employees have to be happy, because happy employees create happy customers, which leads us to number 2, happy customers. So how do you create happy customers? Well, to create happy customers, you need to create emotion. You need to create that customer satisfaction we just talked about, and you need to stay relevant to your customers. So are you giving them what they need to solve their problems today? Are you staying up to date? Are you being competitive and relevant in the marketplace? Happy customers, happy employees, and relevance.
All right, sir, you have told 3 important points, and the major takeaways are, you must have a happy employees, you must have to build a happy customer, you have to create that environment, and you have to be relevant. Sir, I think again it was a quite insightful answer from your side. Sir, my next question to you is what is more important, having a killer product or a good marketing?
To answer that question, I have to tell you another funny little story. So when people would ask me, they say, "Hey, how's your business? Are you getting many speeches today?" And I would kiddingly say to them, I said, "The marketing is doing really well, but the word of mouth is killing me." In other words, people are saying bad things about my product or my performance, but the marketing is good. So and that's just a joke. I would say that and they would look at me and they go, "Really? Huh?" But the point is your best form of marketing in the world is having a great product, a product that people talk about. I mean, you can have the best marketing in the world, but people are not going to come back once they find out how bad the product is. So, of course, having a quality product that's relevant to your customers is far more important than your marketing.
So we can conclude that if you want to build a loyal customer, then you have to work on your product.
You can, yes, yeah. You're not going to create. I mean, even if you're, the nicest guy in the world and take care of your customers, if you don't have what's relevant to them, if they can get it better, faster, cheaper somewhere else, they'll still leave you.
All right,
So,
sir. Sir, my next question to you is actually I have got this question from one of my subscriber, and actually I have included this because you are joining this, and I thought that I should include this question. The question is, what are the key strategies to build customer loyalty?
okay, and it goes back to in order to really create customer loyalty, you have to evoke emotion. So it's how do you create those emotional connections? I think about I was speaking in Colombo, Sri Lanka, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and I checked into the hotel, and when I went into my room, on my bedside table, there was a photo of me and 8 kids that we had rescued from Myanmar that now lived in a children's home in Luang Prabang, Thailand. So it was an organization that I'm involved with called Together We Can Change the World. So they had done their research on me and they had found that I'm involved with Together We Can Change the World, taken off my Facebook page, this really cool picture. And then there it was in a picture frame in a room halfway around the world from where I live with. So I see this photo, I'm like, wow, how do they, where did they get this and how do they know about Together We Can Change the World? And so right then that creates a loyal customer in me because I'm thinking, why? I mean, because they evoke my emotion, they create true connection. And if you really want to build customer loyalty, you have to have that true connection. You have to evoke the emotions. So we did some research on my team for one of our books called Celebrate Lessons Learned from the World's Most Admired Organizations. And in the book, we talk a lot about the concept of surprise because surprise evokes emotion and creates that connection. And that's what that company did in Colombo, Sri Lanka, the Taj Samadra Hotel. They surprised me with this. And if we can positively surprise our customers, that's going to create that emotion and that's going to create customer loyalty.
All right, sir. I think you have very beautifully explained what customer loyalty is. Sir, my next question to you is why customer feedback is very important for business growth.
Yeah, the reason customer feedback is so important is because, as we talked about, how important relevance is. So you have to check in and figure out what it is the customer needs. So without that feedback, then you really don't know. And that's why so many organizations today are always asking for feedback or have their customers, their best customers, involved in creating new products, or they do a focus group. But they continuously want to monitor, especially, you hear of BC and AC, before COVID and after COVID. So, things are changing and what the customer wants and their expectations continue to change. And in order to keep up with those customer expectations, we must continue to deliver on the brand promise, and the brand promise needs to change based on what the customer wants.
Indeed, sir. I think today it's a kind of privilege we got to hear all these things from you. And I think the viewers, those who are watching this session, they will learn from it. And not only I think, but I do strongly believe this. Sir, my next question to you is what can be the best possible ways to measure the customer loyalty?
The best way to measure customer loyalty is are customers coming back, and are they telling their community, their tribe about you? So that's really, you see a lot on these customer satisfaction surveys today, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to come back? All right. So you want that number to be as close to 10 as possible, obviously. Would you, on a scale of 1 to 10, would you tell your friends about us? You want that number to be a 10. All right. Because at the end of the day, what's going to create a thriving, sustainable business is having loyal customers that tell others and refer others to your business. So that's the key. Repeat business and referral.
All right, sir. Sir, we have seen that during this pandemic, many startups has faced this time very challenging. So, sir, what one piece of advice will be from your side to all the startups, all the startup founders, those who are finding this time very challenging?
The advice I would give is to stick with it. If you come from a place of gratitude, that even no matter how tough the times get, be thankful for what you have. It's so easy to focus on what you can't control. And if you can't control something and you focus there, it will become very frustrating and painful that you can't really make choices around what you can't control. So focus on what you can control. Find a rhythm, find a pattern of behavior that fits you in what your new normal looks like, and create a little reward system for yourself. So make sure that you're partaking in activities that you're passionate about, that you love. Fill your life with as many things as you love as you can, so that it helps offset some of the frustration of the new abnormal in your life.
All right, sir. Again, I think it was a great message to all the startups owner, and I think they will take this message and learn from this. Sir, my next question to you is: for an startup owner, it is very difficult to create brand awareness, as they are during the startup they are very short of funding and they are very short of employees. So it's difficult to create a brand awareness among the community. So, sir, what are your opinion? How they can build a brand awareness as well as they can build a loyal customers?
I mean, to create awareness of the brand, as much as you can possibly get out there on social media, and get others to engage in your brand. So, share as much as you can, give away as much as you can, be willing to serve those who you want to serve you, and just get through as many possible channels, through traditional media, through non-traditional media, through press releases. Get the brand out there wherever you can, and then again, offer a relevant product, solve the problem, and do it with a smile. Do it whatever you can to create their perfect world, and that'll help with the customer loyalty. Along the topic of customer satisfaction, if I may tell you one more quick story, because I think it's relevant here. It's actually, I'm going to ask your listeners, and since you're the one on the screen, you'll have to answer this question as well, and I think you'll answer it the way they will. But here we go. Ready? You move to a new city, Harsh, and you want to determine which Photoshop you're going to use. Is it Photoshop A or Photoshop B? And they're very close to one another in proximity, and so you're a blossoming photographer, and you take your little disc into Photoshop A, and they say, okay, we can produce this for you. We'll have it ready for you tomorrow at noon. Photoshop B, which is right next to them, they take another disc and they say, well, they'll have it developed for you and ready for you at 3 o'clock the next day. All right. Photoshop A tells you noon. Photoshop B tells you 3 o'clock. Photoshop A finishes at 2:30. They told you noon. Photoshop B finishes at 2:45. They told you 3 o'clock. Which Photoshop actually finished the quickest? Finished the task the quickest, A or B?
Sir, I think A.
Okay, so you're actually right. It is A. Most people say B. I would say 90% of the when I do presentations and I have people raise their hands, 90% say B because the perception is, oh, they finish it quicker because they told you 3 and then they finish at 2:45. So it's the concept of under promising and over delivering. As achievers, we want to promise, we want to do well. So we make these promises sometimes that we can't keep. And what we end up doing is we end up over promising and under delivering. And even if we're good and we do that, we lose, the customers lose confidence in our brand and who we are because we didn't follow through with what we said we were going to follow through with. So when we talk about creating a better brand, when we talk about customer loyalty and satisfaction, the concept of under promising and over delivering, you hear it a lot, but think about it from a standpoint of when you're making that promise. Don't be too quick to make a promise that may be hard to fulfill. Make a little less on the promise, so that you have some room to actually over promise and under deliver. Under promise and over deliver. Is that what I said? You know what I mean, whatever I said. Thanks.
All right, sir, you have taken a very good example, and I think the viewers who are watching this session, they will find it interesting, and as well as they will learn from this. Sir, my next question to you is: we have seen in many cases that many successful startups, students of the college start their venture during their studies only, with their college days only. And on the other case, many people believe that let's work for sometimes for any other organization first, gain some experience, then start our own venture. So, sir, what do you believe? Which one is good choice?
It's always nice to get experience first. The more experience that you have out there in the marketplace, so that you have a wealth of knowledge when you start your business, is always good, because you want to make sure that you're making wise decisions. So, so that's where I would start is get experience so that you have a foundation. But also, as long as you have good advisors in business and you have your customers involved in the decision making of your startup, of your venture, so that every step along the way, you don't have to guess what they want. They're telling you what they want. Then that can surely help fuel your success.
All right, sir. It was really a very wonderful answer from your side. And sir, moving to I must say that there's a lot to learn from you. So moving to my last question of this session, actually, the question is, uh, I want to know your opinion. What are the things that a startup owner or a startup founder must not expect in his or her initial days of his venture?
Well, the one most obvious answer would be profit. It takes there's being an entrepreneur, there's going to be a lot of failure, and it takes a little while to become successful. The old statistics were it take so many fail in the first 3 years, but if you can make it past the first 3 years, that's when you start really making money after that point. So patience is so important, to not expect to be successful, and really the key is how you treat your failures. I love what was it Winston Churchill who said, success is just moving from failure to failure with enthusiasm. So yeah, as long as you don't quit, you never really fail. You just have to be enthusiastic. You have to learn the lesson. So if you're willing to open up your mind to learn whatever you're supposed to learn from all your failures, and you treat life as a laboratory, that this is just an experiment to learn. What did you learn in every situation? Then you take those learnings, those lessons, and help create a sustainable company based on what you've learned.
Indeed, sir, it was really a very great and wonderful message from your side. Sir, I must say there is a lot to learn from you, and the kind of energy you brought into this session was very inspiring for all of us. Thank you so much, sir, for joining and giving your important time. It was a healthy discussion with you on the topic. We look forward to conduct such more sessions with you in future. Thank you so much, sir, for joining.
Thanks, Harsh. It was great to be with you.
Same here. Thank you.
wonderful
On the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside. I'm